All right, what is going on, everyone? Hope you are all well. Today is currently Saturday, so I hope you're all enjoying your weekend if you are watching it today. But in today's video, I'm going to keep it very short, simple. It's currently 6:30 p.m. It's already halfway through the day, so I wouldn't really call it a day in the life, even though I didn't do much this morning and this afternoon. My mom actually flew in from London, so I'm enjoying her company for a little while. But yeah, so today what I'm going to be doing is gonna head over to the gym, so I'll take you guys with me, hit a quick chest and tricep workout, and then after that I'm gonna be breaking the longs that I took on GU on Thursday. So as you guys can see, I took these GU longs on Thursday. It was a 1 to 6, and a lot of you have been asking what was the reason behind the setup. I mean, if you guys already know the system, you already know why I took this trade just by looking at the chart right now. But I'm going to get into this breakdown at the end of this video with fundamental backings behind why I took the longs, plus the full technical approach on how I scaled in this entry. I'll quickly pop up the actual trade here. I made 12,000. But yeah, so anyways, let's go through the day. My mom cooked food, so I'm gonna go eat and then I'll get ready to go gym. All right, guys, I'll catch you in a few.
The positions that we take, I'd like to post them on my stories, and I like to post them in a. And now we are targeting Asia High. Okay, what do we have here? Confirmation, so we are going for Asia.
Getting ready to head over to the gym. Taxi just arrived, so we'll be making ways now to the gym. Just let me show you the aesthetics of this gym. One thing that's amazing, you got the changing rooms, and then you got a male prayer room. Let me just show you guys. They give you the mat and everything, just a little prayer room to pray. But yeah. First, we're going to get started with some chest. I personally love to start with a flat bench first, then the incline dumbbells, and then some chest presses on the machine, and then I'll get into some triceps on the cable. We're going to get started light. I'm just going to do 60 kilos one set, and we'll get into the 100 kg after. And now we move straight into the 100 kg. Usually I do anywhere between like 6 to 8 reps. Let's see what we're able to do today. Bismillah. Let's go. Felt weak for that set, can't lie. But we'll give it another shot. Let's just take a break. There's been one tune that I've been putting on replay every single day, and it's by TJ. It's called Drift. I'll play some in the background now whilst I do this set. Just drop the weights. Off chest. So I'm going to do some triceps. 3 sets of 10 to 12. Second set, 10 reps. Let's get in. Let's go. Fucking hell. That's today's gym session done. It wasn't the best of sessions, but it was better than nothing. At least we got a workout in. I don't usually work out on the weekends, to be honest with you, but just today I had nothing planned. So I was like, you know what, let's head to the gym and do a YouTube video. Why not? At least stay productive. Now I'm just waiting for the taxi. It should be here anytime soon. It says 2 minutes. And then we'll head home and get into this breakdown. All right, so I'll catch you guys once I'm at my setup. All right, and now I'm back at my setup. So let's get into this breakdown because I know that's exactly what you've all been waiting for. Now, as for the cable, I've been calling buys from the bottoms all the way at 1.2. I've been sharing this in many weekly market breakdowns with my students. There were many areas where we could have scaled in buys from. I called in buys from this area of demand here. There was a confirmation entry for all of us to enter from right over here. And there were multiple other areas where we could have all scaled in on. Last week being the area at 1.22, where we also called buys. Even at this continuation zone right here, I called buys. And pre-CPI release, I called buys at a 5-minute breaker block, which I'll get into throughout the video. But before I get into the technicals, which is the easy part, let me tell you guys from a fundamental standpoint why I was bullish on the cable, okay? Now, I've got all my notes written down here, which I'm going to share with all of you guys. So, as we went through 2023, the dollar looked very strong. There are multiple positive data rolling out covering employment, consumer credit, PMIs, and they were all showing a robust expansion in both service and manufacturing, okay? However, things started to shift very recently. We began seeing a lot of signs of the dollar slowing down, and that is from the job market starting to ease and unemployment starting to rise. Okay, and also consumer spending showed signs of slowing down. Now, that was the turning point for me, okay? Now, whilst the possibility of a rate hike supporting the dollar, recent developments, especially in the core areas like service inflation, is what changed the market sentiment. Okay, and the likelihood of a no rate hike in December was more probable. And also there was another key indicator in the 2-year yield where we saw a significant drop. Okay, now because of that, the market expectation of no more rate hikes suggested a plateau in the Fed's strength. And that was the big question, is when will they start to cut rates? And this shift is what triggered a chain reaction that caused everyone to reassess the dollar's strength. Okay, so that was the fundamental reasonings behind why I started to be bearish on the dollar, and why I started to begin to look for buys on the pound against the dollar. Now that we understand that, let's get straight into the technicals. Now, how was I able to call bottoms, the bottom right over here? Very simple technical analysis, okay? We had a shift on the 2-hour structure of a major high right over here. Once this high was broken, I started to look for areas of demand where we can look to scale in on. After identifying all of this engineered liquidity above this area, where we also have all of this inefficiency, this area of demand became very probable. One, because it took out lows over here, so it also swept some liquidity, and two, it broke a major swing high. So that was the first shift that was indicating bullish for me on the cable. Now, once we had that mitigation into this area, of course, I didn't scale in buys very aggressively because the zone was quite big. I waited for some further refinement. And that was this area right over here. We had that shift taking out this structural point right over here and a pullback, filling in any inefficiency and tapping into this area of demand. Price continued to rise and we saw the boom from 1.22. We saw the expansion over here and that very huge pullback covering all of the inefficiency that was created within that price range. So throughout the whole of last week, I marked out this area of demand and I was waiting for areas to scale in on. Okay, and as you can see, price started to reject an impulse over this area of demand, but it was pretty efficient. There was no real imbalance that created a re-entry opportunity for me within this price range right over here, up until we had that little expansion and that pullback into this continuation zone right over here. Okay, so if I replay price back and we go down to the 5-minute, I'm going to show you guys exactly what I saw. Okay, and this was pre-CPI release. So once we had that mitigation into that continuation zone that I was talking about, we had a very nice breaker block engineered right over here. We had that re-mitigation back into that continuation zone and that expansion. Prior to CPI release, we had that mitigation into this breaker block. If you scaled in buys here, covering the lows, you would have managed to scale in on this entire move over here. But that wasn't the buy that I got into last week, okay? I'm actually going to share that with you guys now. So this was the area that I bought from, okay? So what was the reason behind this trade? Let's actually replay price back to this point over here, okay? Deleting everything so you guys can see my thought process behind why I scaled in to these buys. Okay, now we're currently on the 5-minute time frame, okay, and this was on a Thursday. That's when I got into the position during the New York Open. Okay, now what do I see happening within Thursday's price action? So we had the Asian session right over here. As soon as London Open, it swept the Asian low. And we know when price creates the Asian consolidation or the Asian session's price range, we know there's liquidity resting on both the lows and the highs of that session. So knowing that, we knew that there was liquidity on the low of the Asian session, and we knew that there was liquidity on the high of the Asian session. Now that we know that there is liquidity on either side of that session and London Open took out the lows, we also expect New York to deliver and take out the highs. Okay, and not only do we have that as a confluence for why we were bullish, so we were already bullish from a fundamental standpoint, but from a technical stance, we had also all of this inefficiency that needed to be filled and some areas of supply left unmitigated. So we have liquidity, we have inefficiency, and we have areas of supply that needs to be mitigated. Those were the three confluences for why I wanted to be bullish on GU. Now, as soon as London Open took out the low of the Asian session, I waited for a market structure shift. And that was at this point right over here. As soon as we got that market structure shift, that's when I started to look at areas to buy up GU. And there was actually 2 points. First, I was interested in this breaker block that we have right over here. And I also had marked out the most extreme, which was this area of demand right over here. And this was the area I ended up going for, as this was the more extreme and more probable setup. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, this was a very textbook setup. Asian lows was taken out, we had a market structure shift, and we had liquidity to the upside that needed to be taken out. As soon as we had that market structure shift, I marked out my area of demand and I set my limit at this point right over here, targeting the Asian highs. Now, this is where I personally closed out my entire position at a 1-to-6 risk to reward, but my original final TP was at this point, okay? And that's all there was to this setup. Asian lows were taken out during the London Open, then the London session had a market structure shift, providing us an entry point to scale in on to target Asian sessions high. And as we play price right now, you can see that's exactly what had happened. Boom. We had that mitigation at our extreme and more probable area of demand. Price mitigated into it. Stops were at the low. And then we play price. And as you guys can see, as soon as we got that New York Open right over here, it immediately impulsed over to the upside, taking out the Asian highs, filling in this inefficiency, and eventually mitigating into this area of supply. Okay. And once that had happened, of course, we got the pullback down into some lower levels. And it ended up filling all of this inefficiency and remitigating back into that area of demand. But that's all irrelevant because we already got in and we got out at this point right over here. Okay. So this is all there was to this setup. It was very, very textbook. Okay. Thursday market opened. We don't trade the Asian session. London opened. We identified that I took out the Asian low. We waited for a market structure shift to confirm that we can scale in some buys. We had that market structure shift right over here. We marked out two areas, but we were more interested in a more extreme one as that was the more probable setup, as we did have a lot of inefficiency below that breaker block that also needed to be filled. We set our limit at this more extreme area of demand. Price mitigated us in. I personally took out 100% of my position at the Asian highs for a 1-to-6. Okay, but original final TP would be at the supply right over here. And this trade was also, this exact entry was also shared with my students. And I'm going to pop the Discord section up right now. Okay, so this was the trade for Thursday. and this was the requested breakdown that you guys wanted. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was informative. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comment section and I'll try to get back to you guys. If not, do follow me on Instagram because I share a lot of gems there too. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day and I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.